Well, hi everyone, I'm Chris, and welcome to Chris Creates. Today I wanted to discuss something that's kind of difficult to do, but I think if you can navigate it clearly and with a lot of mental fortitude, you can definitely do it without having too much stress on you, and it could be probably the biggest, most important decision of your life. And that is moving from a full-time job into a freelance job. For me, it was moving from corporate cubicle style job into photography. And I did get very lucky because I was already shooting photography and videography under marketing and social for a couple companies pretty much full time, and then I was actually doing it full time in a cubicle. So I had already had some experience going into all of that, which helped me make the move away from that into freelance, and also showed me the path of why I wanted to do it and not be stuck in a cubicle anymore and having other people kind of dictate my own creative process and what I needed and wanted to do. So the first thing I'm going to say that if you want to move into freelance photography, I would suggest you kind of figure out exactly the type of photography you want to shoot. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to shoot, and I was very open to shooting lots of different type of photography, but specifically I did know that I didn't want to do a certain type of things. I really didn't want to do weddings. I really didn't want to do like special moments. That was kind of my biggest thing. And while I've shot a lot of that now, I think my inexperience working with people, posing, having to produce something in a crunching moment and you're kind of the only one that can do it, I didn't like that stress at first. And now I'm much better at it and I will take on those types of work. But in the beginning, I know I didn't want to do that. And that kind of helped me buy the gear that I wanted. Because that's going to be my next point, is once you kind of figure out the industry you want to be in, you're going to want to figure out the kind of gear that you need. And it all starts with the same thing, is get a camera. So if you already have a full-time job and you don't, you need to get the full-time job. And if you do have the full-time job, once you get it, you need to start saving some cash and you need to get a piece of gear, which is the camera. Doesn't matter the type, doesn't matter the lens. Sony, Canon, Nikon, they all make great cameras, great entry-level cameras. You don't need to spend $1,000 on an entry-level camera. Get yourself a $500 camera and just go shoot, right? That's gonna be my next big thing to say, is that once you're able to get a piece of gear like the camera, you need to practice with it. You need to just go shoot. There's nothing that's gonna help you more than going out and just trying to shoot everything and anything. And I would always suggest try to shoot people. It's easy to go shoot inanimate objects all the time. It's easy to go to the forest or go on a hiking trail and shoot flowers and shoot trees or find views and all these things. And that's great. Practice that for sure. That helps with exposure, with daylight. It helps figuring out the settings on your camera. But when it comes to direction, producing an image, the composition of it, it's a lot different when there's a person involved in it. So I would always suggest ask friends, ask family, ask coworkers if they want their picture taken, and practice. Tell them to pose a certain way. Go in with an intent into the photo. Always don't just pull the trigger, because happy accidents do happen, but when you're getting paid for a living, you can't just count on happy accidents. You really have to have it kind of dialed in. And to be a true professional is to kind of own the craft, and as well as be ready to take on anything and know that you can pivot in that moment to still produce a great photo. This works for any industry. If you're not a photographer and you're doing something else, you need to be the master, or at least on your way to mastery, before you're gonna get paid to do it, okay? So once you've kind of got the job, you're practicing, you got a piece of gear, you're kind of getting it all moving and shaking, I would suggest kind of calculate your expenses and start to save more money. You need to calculate exactly what you spend every single month, and you need to figure out what you need to earn that to cover yourself, right? So if your expenses are $2,000 a month and that gives you a couple $100 of a little space, then you need to figure out how can photography or whatever trade provide you with that amount of money. And then knowing that means figuring out what the type of photography you're looking to get into, what their rates are, and what the average charge is. If you're gonna shoot portraits, and as an entry-level portrait photographer, freelance, you can make $100 to $200 a shoot. I really don't know the rates, I'm just making this up. Then let's go cut it in half. It's $150 a shoot, right? So you're gonna need to make $500 a week, right? So that's 3.5, let's call it 4. That's 4 shoots a week at $150 to cover the 500 times 4 is 2,000. That gives you what you need a month to cover your bills, right? So at this point, you've realized that, well, if I'm gonna quit my job, I need to shoot 4 photo shoots a week at $150 to be able to get pretty close, or actually that covers it, to cover my expenses every single month, so I don't have to stress about money, right? Because once you can figure that out, it becomes a lot less stressful knowing, oh, I only need to shoot this much every month. Like, oh, well, maybe that seems like no big deal to me and I can just do it. And if that's your mentality, then you were like probably the perfect person. If it seems a little stressful, like, oh man, I gotta pick up 4 shoots a week, trust me, it seems gnarly, but some weeks and some months, I will shoot 3-4 shoots a day, and I'll make my rent in an afternoon. So it is definitely possible in most trade industries to earn way more money than you're going to earn potentially that you're earning currently, if that makes any sense. I might have messed that up. Anyway, so once you've calculated expensive and you start to save some cash, really pay attention to the industry and maybe add to the gear that you need. If your photography requires a camera and a tripod and maybe like a strobe or a speed light or some type of external flash for yourself, do some research on Amazon, do some research online, figure out exactly which one to buy and buy it. Save more cash, buy it, save more cash, buy it. Kind of rinse and repeat until you have at least a few pieces that you know you're gonna need in the industry. If you're shooting portraits in natural light, yeah, maybe you just need a really nice fast lens and a decent full-bodied camera to get out there and shoot. Cool, save the cash, get that. If you're gonna shoot interiors at all, you're probably gonna need some type of interior lighting. If it's with people in a studio, you're gonna need a strobe to some degree. It can even be a speed light, maybe a softbox or an umbrella. There are just lots of little things that you might need to execute at the level that you're gonna need to earn the cash that you're gonna want to cover your expenses. So that's definitely some easy things to kind of look for when you're getting started before you even make the shift or the thought process of how I'm gonna get out of this job and move in. Those are the pieces that you kind of need to have wrapped together for yourself. The next thing I'm gonna say is a lot, it's harder to do than it seems. And I feel like a lot of people are gonna be like, okay, like I could do that. But it's start picking up work, whether it's free or whether it's actually getting paid really little. Just go pick up some work. Craigslist, there's like Monster Jobs. You can use LinkedIn, find people. There's all these different platforms where you can kind of sign up as a photographer and you don't need to show off any work at this point, and people will kind of hire you. And Craigslist has always been a huge one for me, just being in LA and Orange County, San Diego. It always provides a lot of extra work when I have downtime. I'll get a week and I'll be like, man, I have nothing going on this week, and I'll just hop on Craigslist and see if I can find something. I usually pick up a job or two pretty quickly, which allows me to kind of keep the juices flowing, keep twitching the muscles, and I don't know, makes me feel a little more like I got something done this week than having the whole week off, you know what I'm saying? So when you're still working, pick up the work. You work a full-time job? Okay, pick up some work on the weekends. Pick up some jobs after you're done. Schedule a day off. Let's say someone wants to hire you and they want to meet you at the park to shoot some portraits at 3 p.m. on Thursday, and that's the only day they can do it. Well, it might not hurt to just take a half day at work if you have the time saved up, because this is going towards your future. So it makes sense to practice as much as you can, and if you can get paid to practice before you go freelance, more power to you. That is gigantic. I can't even stress how good it feels to get off work at a job you don't like and go make money doing something you do like, and you kind of get that little bug. It shows you, hey, I can do this. And confidence in freelance is everything. There literally is nothing more important than confidence in freelance, because it helps you keep moving forward while some things just don't always go your way. You're gonna shoot, you're not gonna have the best shoots, maybe you don't like the photos, but the client's still happy, but you feel bad inside. Just producing the photos and getting through the job and getting that check or getting that lump of cash when you're done makes you feel better about the idea that you wanna do this and you can do this. Because I think everyone can do the things that they want to do if they put their mind to it, they practice, they put in the work, and they execute. Anyone, doesn't matter what skill set you think you have now, in 6 months you can be doing what you wanna do. I know you can, all right? So, once you've started picking up the work, whether it's for free or not, at a certain point, you're gonna wanna start picking up work that's paid, okay? So pick up jobs that are cheap. If you see a guy, oh, I got $100, I want a portrait shot, I'll do it for 100. If he's like, oh, I have 2 other people, I'll do it for 75. I'll do it for 50. Maybe you go in right away, hey man, I just need some experience. I'll do this for free. I have shot countless things for free. I have shot countless things that I was told I was gonna pay and that person was a total asshole and didn't pay me. And I have shot countless things for actual payment. So you're never gonna have the perfect situation forever. Just pick up the jobs as they come, work for free. Doesn't matter. Work for small amounts in the beginning. It doesn't matter. Know what your worth is eventually, but work to get that value. Right? Don't go into every shoot like, well, I have this expensive piece of gear, I'm $500 a day. Like, no one's gonna hire you. I mean, and if you're getting work that way, then more power to you. But in my experience, that mentality is not gonna get you hired. Jumping at all the opportunities that you're presented in front of you, regardless of the rate that's getting offered, will give you better overall experience and will make you feel better inside, because you're just always working and producing photos or working and producing whatever industry that you are trying to do it in. Some little things that I can discuss that help just once you make the jump. get your social platform started, get Facebook going, get an Instagram. I suggest both those platforms because they're kind of like little mini websites, and the URL can say your name in it or say your brand in it, and it's free. So you don't need to pay for a website yet. You can have social platforms that say, I have facebook.com/Chris Creates or Chris Horry Photography. You know what I mean? Like, it's simple, it's easy, and people will still respect that as an applicable way to check out your work. Once you get a little more established, you have some more money coming in, or you have a good amount of savings, build the website, do the extra that makes you come off as a legit professional, because people do look at that as a bar for professional work. I used to only use social platforms, and then I realized, okay, I'm kind of leveling out the amount of work I'm getting, so let's go ahead and build the website, which I did. And then I noticed that, okay, now when I'm submitting for jobs or I'm talking to people and I give them that link, they tend to get back a little quicker. Oh man, your website looks great, right? And maybe it's because it says chrishorry.com. Like, it just seems so much more official than like facebook.com/Chris Horry Photography. Like, it just makes people kind of go, wow, this guy's kind of got it together. And the perception, it tends to be reality. It's kind of fucked up, but perception is reality most times. And in this kind of line of work, freelance work, what people see generally in the beginning is kind of how they treat you, and it sets the bar for the amount of money you can make. If they go to your site and it looks like it only deserves $50 a day, you're probably only going to make $50 a day. But if they go to your site and like, man, I'd pay this guy $1,000 a day, like, then there's no cap on the money that you can earn. And that will always be more important and get you more work and get you earning more money than taking the lowest bar of achievement when it comes to showcasing work on social platforms and a website. All right, so go ahead and do that. It's super simple. I use Squarespace for my website, but I've used Wix, and I've also done WordPress. So there's many outlets to build websites. Do the one that's easy for you. I would always suggest Wix or like Squarespace, because they're kind of just plug and play. You just load up all your stuff, you kind of drag and drop and create it. You can buy your URL. It's super simple, super to manage. Once you get more into SEO and maybe trying to get your website more searchable, which they both do well, Squarespace and Wix, but WordPress, you get a little more room, and you can do a little bit more, especially as your business grows. Once you've got all that kind of figured out, save and save and save. Before you make that date to quit, and before you make that call that you're gonna do it, just keep saving. The whole time, save money. I took every piece of cash that I got while I still had a job and I was working freelance, and I just stuck it in a jar under my bed, and I just saved it. And it was a couple $1,000 after a while, but that couple $1,000 allowed me to go, hey, this covers like a month of bills. I also have $1,000 in my savings account, so let's just get a couple more thousand saved and I'll make that jump, right? I can make that freelance jump, and it gives me a little peace of mind trying to get through that next month, not going, oh my God, everything I earn has to pay a bill. Because no one likes working from check to check. And in freelance, it's never, I just need 2 checks to cover my bills. Like, it might be, I need 11 checks this month at this rate to cover my bills. So that becomes stressful. It becomes like this big weight on your shoulders, and you just feel it. It's not that fun. So I would always suggest save some cash, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months of cash to get yourself in a little bit of a buffer while you're still working the job, and hopefully while you're working freelance as well, because I think that combination effort of everything is going to give you the biggest pillow of comfort trying to move into the world of freelance. I mean, it's cutthroat. There will always be someone in freelance that has a better camera, that shoots better than you. And sometimes it's your personality and sometimes it's your work, but together, all of that encompasses where you're going to get work and where you're going to have a long-standing ability to acquire work for the rest of your career. All right. Last thing is set that date. Be confident. Once you've got the gear and you've been practicing and you're out there and now you're making money as a photographer and you're really sick of working this full-time job, but you're having people say, hey, you should just do this now, man. We really like your work. Set the date. Give yourself a month. In 1 month, I'm going to quit. In 2 weeks from that date, I'm giving my 2 weeks notice, and in that 2 weeks, I'm done. And I'm quitting and I'm never going back. It'll be the hardest decision and the best feeling in the world, because that next month when you've acquired all your bills and all you did was go shoot, or all you did was go provide this service, you feel so accomplished and you feel on such a high cloud that it makes you hustle and work to the next month. And all of a sudden you're like, wow, it's been 6 months, but I have a year saved. Ooh, it's been 2 years and I'm good for the next 2 years. Like, it all feels so good. I always appreciate when I meet someone that works with themselves, or works for themselves, and goes out there and hustles and gets it done, especially in the creative world, because it is so hard to do, and it doesn't want you to succeed. It doesn't ever feel like it wants you to succeed until you're finally succeeding. And even then, there'll be days when you're like, wow, can I still do this? You know? So get out there and do it. And I know I said lastly, but lastly, be humble, be nice, people don't want to hire dicks. People don't want to hire ego ran assholes, okay? So be cool, be humble. When you meet with clients, ask questions, all right? And if you have anything that you need to know from the client, make sure to ask. And first things first, always don't forget to listen, all right, guys? Listening is so important. All right, man, that's all I got. I hope you guys are fucking gonna do this. I'm rooting for you. If you do it and I helped in any way, let me know, hit me up, hit me with subscribe, comment, let's chat. I love you guys. Aloha.